Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Laurent Macquart, and as promised, I'm going to share the books that I picked for the second wave book bingo, so my TBR for the second wave book bingo. I have got the 9 books in front of me and I'm excited to share them quickly with you. So for the first prompt is use a hammer to kill a virus, aka read a 600 plus page book, and for that I have picked A Column of Fire by Ken Follett. It's the third book in the King's Bridge Chronicle trilogy, and I've read the first two. Well, I've listened to the first two at the beginning of the month, so I'm excited to read this one and see what the parallels are between the books. I've already started it today. I'm 60 pages in, and this little brick has 900 pages, so that's well over the limit. Initially, I had picked another book in a series, which is the Mirror Visitor series, but I had picked the second one, which I have already read when I was checking the pages, and when I figured that I had already read this and I wanted to read this one, I checked the pages in this one and it has 570 pages, so I had to find another book. Anyway, Ken Follett, Column of Fire. Next prompt, go to an illegal Halloween party, aka read a book with a dark cover, and for that I am choosing The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. I have been looking forward to reading this ever since I heard of it, and I got it for my birthday in May, but because it's one of those books that I expect I'm going to love, I haven't picked it up yet. It's like, you know when you kind of like someone and you don't tell them because you're afraid that the possibility of the wonderful relationship and love that you have in your head is going to crumble and it's not going to be that? Well, same with this book and a lot of other books. It's about a village in Norway, and after all of the men have died in a storm, all of the women first grieve, of course, and then need to build up society differently, and they have the power. And after a while, a man comes and he thinks that there are witches amongst them, because women, of course, can't have any decision making. So, The Mercies. I think I'm going to keep this one for my last book of the year because I think I'm going to love it. Also, pretty. Next, buy baking powder before it gets hamstered, aka read a book published in 2020. And for that, I'm reading this Dutch book called Suikerbastard by Jaap Scholten, which this translates to The Sugar Bastard. And apparently, from what I understood, it's partly in the Netherlands, partly in Romania, and partly in Abyssinia, which is nowadays Ethiopia. And it's about family drama, and there's a man that looks at a TV show, and there's a guy that says that he's his father, and then he goes on a quest to find out more about his family in Africa. And there are other people that go to Abyssinia, and I have no idea yet, but there's colonial powers, I think, involved. Anyway, very curious. It's historical fiction and family drama and other countries, so I expect I'm going to love this. Also quite a chunker, by the way. And I know that this author has also been translated also in English, so it's possible that this one will be translated at one point or another. It's a Dutch man, by the way, who lives in Hungary. And yeah, his books have already been translated to English, French, Dutch, Hungarian, Romanian, and Montenegroian? The language that people in Montenegro speak. Anyway, Sugar Bastard. Next, we have Realize Christmas Will Be Just You and Your Household, aka read a book with some family drama. And for that, I'm going to read this book that I got from the library, so I'm going to read this at one of the first books, and that is Sharks in the Time of Saviors, by Kawai Strong Washburn. And apparently, well, this is set in Hawaii, and it's about a family where there's a boy who has some kind of magical powers, and because of that attention that he gets as a result of that, his brother and sister feel neglected and stuff happens. I kind of forgot the rest of it. I just had marked it and got it from the library, and I'm going into it blind. But Marlon James says it's good, so that's gotta be promising. Also, family drama between brothers and sisters. Like that. Next we have Stay at Home Because You Have a Cough, aka read a book that spans at least a decade, and for that I'm finally going to start reading, sorry it's a bit shiny, Au nom du Japon by Hiro Onoda, which in English is called, I can't remember, but I'm gonna link that below. And it's a real story about a man that when the Second World War ended, he was in the forest of Philippines, and he didn't believe that the war has ended, so he stays in the jungle. And initially, there are other people also from his group, but he ends up staying in the Philippine jungle for 29 years. Super excited. Next, change your vacation plans because your initial destination is code bad, aka read a book about the Netherlands. And I was thinking, after having filmed my announcement video, etc., explaining all the prompts, that the prompt should actually be read a book about the country you live in, and not necessarily the Netherlands, because reading a book about the Netherlands when you live in Japan, for example, makes no sense. So keep that in mind if you want to participate. Anyway, I'm going to read this book, De Goede Immigrant, and this has been edited by the Dipsaus podcast, and it translates to The Good Immigrant. I think, from what I've understood, The Good Immigrant is also a book that has been made in other countries as well, and it's 13 visions on the Netherlands by people that have immigrated to the Netherlands from other countries. It's non-fiction, and there are, as it says, 23 short stories or short experiences, and I'm very curious to see what this is like, and also what the voices are. If there are voices that me, as well, someone who came to the Netherlands as a child, but can seamlessly move into the society, if there are parallels that I can see, and what other parallels there are. So we've got this one, then we've got another 3. Yeah. Meet a new colleague online, aka go into a book blind purely based on someone's recommendations. A while back, Pauline from Dancing Lawn talked about this book, shiny, here, Les Jeux sont faits by Jean-Paul Sartre. And I can't remember what it's about, except that she was enthusiastic about it. And last week or the week before, I actually found this in a mini beep when I was walking around. So I took that with me, and I'm going to read it. Also, it's short and it's French. Next, we've got Forget Your Mask at Home and Go Back to Get It, aka Reread a Favorite. I have been wanting to reread the trilogy by Philip Pullman, the Dark Materials trilogy. I've read them when I was a kid in French, and I have read the Book of Dust, the first book of that series, last year, and I have the second, but apparently the second is after what happens in the Dark Materials. So I'm going to start with the first one and then see how it goes. I was hesitating to get it in English, but I have them in French, so it's okay. So if you don't know, this one, the first one at least, is in a parallel world, literally, where people have demons. They're kind of animals that when you're a child still can shapeshift, and afterwards, when you're an adult, they have one form that they have, so they stick to one animal and they have to stay with you and you kind of communicate with them. And in this world, a lot of kids get kidnapped because experiments are done with them, and the main character Lyra and her demon Pantaleimon go on a search for one of their friends that has been kidnapped. And it's a wonderful story, and I'm looking forward to rediscovering it. Last but not least, spend New Year's at home in your PJs, aka read a book narrated in the first person. And I'm going to read Moi Tituba, Sorcière by Maryse Condé. I've been looking forward to reading a book by Maryse Condé ever since I heard from her. She's an author from Guadeloupe and has lived also in France and has lived also in, I can't remember what country. Ghana, maybe? But I've heard great things about her writing, and this is about one of the Salem witches that is black, and her story has not been told, so I'm dying to read this. I ordered this in a cave, and I'm happy, and so yeah, we've got this one. So those are the 9 books. Wait, let me hold up the pile. I haven't really yet decided in what order I'm going to read them, except for starting with this one. But I was thinking maybe of starting with the prompts that I have come across For example, meet a new colleague online. That's something that is very day-to-day life for me right now. So I was thinking maybe starting with that one, at least when I've kind of finished this one. Maybe go about it that way. And as I said in the announcement video, the bingo lasts until the 31st of September, so I'm gonna spread it all out for the, 2 months that are going to come. Now, I would love to hear what you think of these books, if you have read any of them, I don't want to get spoilers, obviously, but I still want to know what you thought about them. And if you're planning on maybe participating in the book bingo, then I would, of course, love to see what your plans are, your TBRs are, how are you going to tackle it? Are you only going to do, like me with my starting plans, just the prompts that correspond to your life, or do you think you will do them all? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So I'm going to leave you with that for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!